This here is from Dan Wooten. He makes the claim that an after-hours tape might be in the works sooner than we thought concerning the royals. I've said a couple of times the only way Meghan and Harry could probably get attention anymore is by a sex tape. And when I mean attention, I don't mean just like negative reports on how they're failing. I mean actual attention as far as what they're doing. But anyway, apparently this isn't a joke. Let's see what we got.
Is there a royal family sex tape? And how concerned is Buckingham Palace about this development? Of course, for a long time, there were fears that videos of Meghan Markle that had been recorded during her time in Hollywood could find their way into the public domain. On the whole, that was able to be contained. And I should be clear, we are talking here about naked imagery, naked videos, rather than actual any type of sexual interaction on camera, as far as I am aware. However, shock new reporting from Rob Shooter claims that the Kremlin in Russia may hold a Prince Andrew sex tape and the royal family is in panic mode.
All right, I mean, I always laugh at people when they say Russia did it or Russian bots. But let's see what the document says. He's not saying bots. He did name a name. He said the Kremlin's. Well, not exactly a name of somebody, but all right. Blame nonetheless.
Here's his reporting. High-level fears swirled that explosive Epstein footage has landed in Moscow. The monarchy's worst nightmare may be real. Shooter Scoop has learned from multiple intelligence sources that a sex tape allegedly showing Prince Andrew on Jeffrey Epstein's infamous island is believed to exist and could now be in the hands of Russian operatives. This is not gossip, says a US national security insider. Officials in the US and UK take the existence of this tape seriously and believe it was smuggled to Moscow. The alarming claims stem from former Florida deputy John Mark Dugan, who fled to Russia with Epstein's digital files. Dugan has publicly stated he possesses compromising footage involving the disgraced royal and has shared info with Kremlin-linked contacts.
Okay, so they say they've got a tape of Andrew with that Jeffrey guy at that place. We hear this a lot these days about a lot of people. Nothing ever seems to get out, though.
This is Compromat. Another intel source warns if Russia has this tape, they could blackmail Andrew or worse, destabilize the crown. Buckingham Palace has refused to comment, but insiders say the fear is very real. If the tape ever surfaces, the monarchy wouldn't survive, it says one palace source. This isn't tabloid scandal, it's national security. So, Brittany, a lot to pick up on here. Brittany, editor of the Royal News Network, I should say.
All right, so now Dan brings on a guest, and it seems like he's trying to mix in two topics at once. Was there some naked footage of Meghan Markle that got hidden? Is there a tape of Andrew?
Because firstly, this would not end the royal family. Let's just be very, very clear about that. They have weathered Prince Andrew's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, okay? It's been bad. It's been incredibly difficult. It meant the late Queen Elizabeth II had to actually jettison her favorite son, even though she went to her death absolutely convinced that that son was innocent. So let's just be clear. I think we've got to be really careful when we're talking about this that we don't get into hyperbole. I don't think it would finish the British royal family. But of course, these revelations will be a concern. And it is one of the reasons why Prince William has pushed for more of a significant split, I guess, between the royal family and Prince Andrew for so long. But Brittany, it's interesting because a lot of people thought that the Meghan Markle naked videos.
And for the record, I did a quick search on those. All I could find was fakes. If she was actually naked in some role, that would be public information out there, but I guess that wasn't so. I mean, there's no nudity on Suits, I don't think. I think it's just some lawyer show like PG-13 or something like that. But I don't really think like just non-sexual nudes hurt anybody so much. They've got out in the past from various celebs of all genders and whatever. And it's just pretty much people are like, aha, kind of sucks for you that got out. That's about it.
Could really damage the royal family. And that didn't come to pass. So what's your view on this reporting?
Well, I think when it comes to Andrew in this situation, we all know he's a buffoon. We all know that he is apparently sex crazed. And so I don't think a tape would be a huge surprise. Now, obviously, if there's an underage person involved, if there's something particularly egregious that's part of the tape, obviously, I think that's a cause for concern. But when it comes to the royal family, I think regardless of whether the tape exists or not, I think this is another example of how, when it comes to the members of the royal family, there has to be structures in place to punish royals when they have stepped out of line, when they compromise the broader institution, which I think is what Harry and Meghan and Andrew have all done. And I think it's critically important to have those avenues and not have this sort of wishy-washy thing that Charles does, where he has something where, Andrew and Harry and Meghan are on the royal website as if they're somehow still part of this. And it's like, no, take them off. It doesn't make any sense. And so I think this tape probably would not shock people even if it did come out. And again, unless there's something particularly egregious on it. But it's another reminder of that the Andrew problem is not going away. And Charles has to figure out a way to deal with it.
All right, so I guess the crux of this here is that Andrew was possibly involved with you-know-who in bad ways, and there's some kind of suppressed Meghan tape out there.
Where Andrew is not a problem in the future, and showing that there is a separation, that the royal family takes those who
is a free speech platform.
So that is, I think, disturbing on that topic. So I mean, it could be that they never existed in the first place, so it's not hard.
Successful in getting her own naked video. www.outspoken.live. Enter your email address and sign up today.
So let's see what they say more on Meghan.
It really will. It really will, Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think Meghan Markle was so successful in getting her own naked videos removed from the internet? Because it's difficult to do.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't really ever heard that rumor, so I can't really say for sure anything on that topic. So, I mean, it could be that they never existed in the first place, so it's not hard to remove something that never existed. But when it comes to Meghan, I know there have been like deep fakes that have been created about her and those sorts of things. So that is, I think, disturbing on multiple levels, not only for her, but potentially other members of the royal family. So there's a lot of things going on the internet that are out of the royal family's control. So again, it's about controlling what they can. And in this particular situation, it's Andrew and Harry and Meghan. These are the problem areas, and you need to figure out a way to more severely separate them from the monarchy to contain it, because there are situations, we have some in Norway, we had a bit in Belgium and stuff like that, where scandals can erode the trust and the foundations of the monarchy for sure.
Right. And the other gist is that there's no good way to punish these royals who get out of line. And yeah, I could agree there. Let me know what you think in the comments. If some tape does exist with Meghan especially, I guess it might get out one day. As far as Andrew, well, he's in the mix of that situation. So if some of that gets out, maybe he'll be in it. Who knows? All right, I'm rambling. If you don't subscribe here, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.